Canada is an open economy. It's a G7 economy. Looking at trade and investments and revival of growth there, how important do you think it is? What are the measures we can take globally to do better? And what is Canada's contribution to this? And I also add those three questions, but you probably remember also Chrystia, she was given the task when Mr. Trump was president and there was a new trade policies and also the renegotiations of NAFTA, and you maneuvered that through. And I guess that's a competence that is also possibly useful in the years to come. Over to you, Chrystia.
Well, thank you very much, Borge, and thank you for the friendship between Canada and Norway. I know you're not here in that capacity, but it's a very important partnership for us. Look, Borge, you know Canada well, and Canada is an open economy. We are a trading nation. We're very proud to be able to say we are the only G7 country that has a comprehensive trade deal with every other G7 country, with Valdis, with Brian, I see Taro Kono of Japan. If we had a Brit here, with the Brits too. And we work hard to have strong trading relationships. We believe in them. It is also the case, as Ngozi and Khaldun have said, the environment in 2024 is very different than it was in 2015 when I became trade minister. And it is clear, I very much agree with how Khaldun framed it. There are sort of two dominant economic trends that have a bearing on trade and investment right now. One is a focus on supply chain resilience, and that is just a reality. After the shock that we all experienced during COVID with things shut down, our people are just going to demand a little more security in their supply chains. And then that was multiplied, as Khaldun said, by Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. And, you know, Valdis can speak much more, with much greater experience than I can, but we all saw in particular how that really delivered a huge shock to Europe, the dependency that they had. So supply chain resilience, it's a reality, and we're all thinking about it in how we build our own trade relationships and also how we as Canada make a pitch to foreign investors. The other thing that's going on, and again, Khaldun talked about this is a hugely transformative moment in the whole global economy. I think that right now we're living through a moment which is comparable only to the Industrial Revolution itself in terms of the energy transition and the way we need to retool all of our manufacturing. That is huge. Canada's strategy, Borge, is to say, look at these two trends and let's see how we can use them to play to Canada's strengths. And our view is there's a lot that Canada can offer to the world in this moment. You know, we have the critical minerals and metals that you need to build a green economy. We have a lot of clean energy. 85% of our grid is already clean, and we are investing heavily in building more clean energy. We are a country that believes in manufacturing, has manufacturing know-how and capacity. And then you guys spoke about industrial policy. You know, the thing that is new about industrial policy is we are developing our economies, growing our economies at a time when we also need to accomplish the green transition. And I spoke yesterday to a very significant international business leader who is also a big investor in Canada. And he said to me, all the countries in the world need to be very careful that decarbonization does not mean deindustrialization. I thought that was an extremely smart comment, and Canada is absolutely determined that decarbonization for us will mean more jobs, more growth, more manufacturing, and we recognize government needs to play a role to make that happen. So we've set up a $15 billion government fund run by professional investors from a Canadian pension fund. And I hope you know Canadian pension funds, they're geniuses, the best in the world. So we don't have my department manage the money. Sorry, you guys are very good too.
And the Norwegians are involved.
Norwegians also
is
good.
not bad
We're good.
either, huh?
No, but like, come on, the Canadian pension funds, they're great. My point is, we don't have government bureaucrats invest these $15 billion. We have professional investors do it, but their job is to fill that gap between to de-risk for private capital. And that $15 billion is being invested alongside private capital to make projects work. And then we have put in place a system of investment tax credits, really to be comparable to the IRA. And we now have a suite of policies for the industrial transformation worth about $120 billion. So come invest in Canada. We believe that we have to hustle. We think this is a moment that, the cement is being poured for the new economy. And we really believe in being out there, talking to investors in the world and saying there's a lot of natural advantages Canada has, and we're going to help those advantages along with government policy. And then just to conclude, Borge, what I'll say, I liked your introduction. I liked the way you said it's really important that trade policies work for people. And that would be sort of my final comment, speaking for Canada. But really, I think this applies to the whole world. As we build our economic policies, whether they are trade policies or investment attraction policies or industrial policies, at the end of the day, the question we have to ask ourselves is, will this make the life of the people I represent better? Will it create great jobs that people can build a life on and have hope and optimism for the future with?